Screencasts are one of the most versatile, technology-enhanced instructional strategies. In this screencast, I'm going to go through some of the uses for screencasts in the classroom, basic guidelines for creating a screencast, and one screencasting tool, Screencast-O-Matic. There are several primary uses for screencasts, but there are many more possibilities, so don't hesitate to get creative. Some of these uses require that students watch the videos at home, outside of the classroom, but many incorporate screencasts into the classroom. The first use is to deliver a presentation. This could be a traditional, linear presentation, like those made with PowerPoint or Google Slides, or it could use other presentation software such as Haiku Deck, Prezi, or an image slideshow. You provide added content and explanation of key terms or images on the screen. Traditionally, a screencast presentation would be recorded ahead of time, and I'll focus mostly on pre-recorded screencasts for this video. For example, pre-recorded screencasts are incredibly helpful for a flipped classroom approach. In a flipped classroom, content is delivered to students outside of the physical classroom. This allows time for a workshop environment during class time in which the teacher is guiding students and facilitating student application of information rather than just presenting information. But a simple starter option for screencasting is to record a live presentation you give in class. To do this, you press record at the beginning of class, and the screencast software will record whatever your screen visuals are, as well as your accompanying explanation. You will also get classroom noise and student responses in this type of video. These live recording screencasts are a great option for catching up students who miss class. If you want your students to use a new digital tool or website, you can create a screencast demoing how to navigate the tool or website and highlighting the key features. This is similar to many of the demonstration videos available on the internet, such as the video tutorials for Screencast-O-Matic you'll take a look at soon. Students can create their own screencasts as an assignment. They can deliver presentations or get creative in how they display understanding. Students can also create instructional video content for themselves and peers, aligning with the philosophy of student-centered learning, placing the instructional responsibility in students' hands. Student-created screencasts can motivate students to take more control of their own learning. If students turn in a digital assignment, you can make a screencast walking through their assignments and providing your comments and feedback. This allows you to give more explanation and rich feedback than just brief written statements. While this might not be necessary for most assignments, it provides a level of depth to feedback. This could be particularly beneficial for differentiating feedback to students who have difficulty with reading, providing audio feedback to supplement the text. I personally used screencasts most frequently in my own classroom for differentiation. You can make screencasts for students working at different levels. In my classroom, it was almost impossible at times for direct instruction to simultaneously be appropriate for all students. One group would watch a short screencast and do a bit of application work while I worked with a different group. Then, they would switch places. This let me have focused time with small groups of students, teaching similar content in different ways. Using screencasts allows for flexibility to reach students at different levels. Using screencasts in stations is very similar to how I used them for differentiation. However, there may or may not be different content for different students. One station has a device playing a screencast, freeing up the teacher to work with students. Making screencasts is surprisingly simple, but there are some key guidelines you want to follow. You always want to script out your audio. You might go off script a bit, but having a script is incredibly helpful for preventing you from falling back on familiar verbal fillers like and ah. A script of your audio is also helpful for making your video align with the Universal Design for Learning Principle 1, provide multiple means of representation. Principle 1, Guideline 1, provide options for perception, calls for you to offer alternatives for auditory and visual information. You can use your script to caption a video or distribute it for students to read while they watch the video. In this case, you need to stick more tightly to your script. When you prepare a screencast, plan out your movements and timing. Think of a screencast as a cooking demonstration. A cook doesn't measure the ingredients during the demo or have the audience wait while the dish cooks. Follow the same principles for screencasts. For example, if you're going to use multiple websites, have those open as tabs. If you're going to load a video or web page, pause the recording while it loads. Sometimes you can help your audience by adding some text to your screencast. A simple way to do this is to use a PowerPoint slide. For example, you might start in slide view to give an agenda for the video, or you could switch to a slide view if you're describing a list at some point and want text anchors. You can also use video editing tools to add in this text as an overlay after you record the video. Make sure you move your mouse slowly if you are navigating on the screen, so the mouse movements aren't jerky and distracting. Slow movements also give your students time to follow what you're doing. Before you start to record a screencast, you want to remove anything that might be distracting. For example, a lot of icons on your desktop or a busy background photograph might be distracting from your content. If you're going to use the internet, remove tabs you aren't using in the video. You don't want students to be focused on what lies on that hidden Facebook tab instead of the information you're presenting. When you're recording a screencast, be aware of background noises in your environment and consider your surroundings. A dog barking, the TV in another room, or fan blades spinning could all be very distracting. Practice and read your script out loud a couple of times before you try to record your screencast. This will save a lot of time re-recording by catching grammar errors and improving flow. When you're making screencasts, remember that while you want to produce a respectable product, don't focus so much on perfection that you give up on screencasts. You will get faster with time, and screencasts are an investment in a reusable resource. There are many options for screencast tools. I'm focusing on Screencast-O-Matic in this introduction, but you might have a different preference. Screencast-O-Matic has a free version and a pro version available. The pro version is reasonably priced if you use screencasts frequently, at only $15 a year as of January 2017. The primary benefits of the pro version are longer videos, editing features, scripted recordings to allow video captioning, and a wider variety of saving and exporting options. However, you will be able to make great videos with the free version as well. Screencast-O-Matic has a great bank of tutorial videos to get you started. Be sure to watch the Recorder Intros video first. The tutorials are short, so I recommend watching them for each tool or feature you use. Have fun with screencasts, and let yourself think out of the box for how screencasts can best support your students' learning.